What up? What up? What up, y'all? It's the Sports Mix. It's Big Kenny in the building. Got a special one for y'all tonight. Got a Baltimore hoops legend checking in with me. Honor. It's a privilege, man, for me. This guy's resume is incredible. You know, when it comes to that basketball, a high school All-American, National High School Player of the Year, College All-American, number one draft pick, fourth overall, number one draft pick, 1987, Big East Player of the Year, most outstanding player in the championship game. I mean, we could do the accolades all night, man. Welcome to my show. One of my favorites, Reggie Williams. Welcome to the show, my brother.
Okay. Thank you, Kenny, for having me.
Oh man, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. So right out the gate, let me just get this out the way. You know, anybody that knows me, that's known me for, you know, since my teenage years, know that my favorite basketball player played for Georgetown, and he wore number 34. Is my guy. So this is an honor for me, man, to have you on talking to you. Thank you for giving me the time, my brother. Appreciate it.
No problem at all.
Yep. So
good to be here.
Yep. So right out the gate, man, I want to give a shout out to your brother Ivan for setting this up. You know, Ivan also God known since I was a teenager. You know, so I asked him, did he think Reg would come on and talk to me? He said, yeah, he'll do it. So, you know, man, he hooked it up and here you are. So I appreciate you. And thanks, Ivan, man, for hooking this up for me. Yep. So right out the gate, Reg, you know, you are a Baltimore guy, you know, born and raised. You grew up early on in Lafayette. And so you know, what was it like for you growing up down there? What kind of kid were you?
I was a good, quiet kid, you know, like I am today. Yes, kind of had my own little way of doing things. Growing up, you know, we moved down in Lafayette. I think I was around 10 years old, and didn't know anything about it. I knew we were downstairs. I lived in a high rise, and the recreation center, you know, I could walk. It was like 2 or 3 minutes.
Right.
And so that was like my second home.
Okay.
Lafayette Recreation Center. The director was Leon Howard, and he made me feel at home. Okay. You know, so pretty much every day except the weekend, we found ourselves at the rec. You know, playing from basketball to pool, ping pong, all kind of different kind of sports in there. And it was like my second home.
Okay. So at what point did you meet your right hand man, Muggsy Bogues?
At Lafayette Recreation Center. So you know, I didn't know, you know, I heard of the Bogues, but I didn't know, you know who they were. And you know, when you meet one, you know, it's about 100 of them behind. And so Muggs was, you know, outgoing. Yeah. And I'm pretty much reserved or whatever. But we hit it off. We were like total opposite when it came to personality.
Right.
But but we found a niche on the basketball court.
Okay. So you started playing around that time?
Yeah, we started to play. You know, I wasn't a basketball player growing up. I used to watch baseball. My uncles and my brother always tried to get me out to play. And I would go to the courts, but I wouldn't play.
Okay.
I was young, and they were much older than I was. So I kind of set out. I was kind of scared. I said, I don't know. I'm not sure.
Right.
But you know, my brother, you know, used to take me to the court and beat up on me, and then I started to grow. So I started beating up on him. So I had to go through that challenging, but you know, it was good growing up there. Met a lot of good people, a lot of supportive people who supported me, impacted, you know, my life.
Yeah. So I'm kind of familiar with Mr. Leon Howard. I went to college with his youngest son, Jamal.
Oh, Jamal, okay.
Yeah, so me and him went to college together at BCCC. And so I was familiar kind of with, you know, some of the history down there.
Okay.
So I've heard you speak about him before. Kind of tell me what he meant to you in your basketball career.
Yeah, Mr. Howard, we call him fat man growing up. You know, he allowed us to say that, and he didn't have any problems with that.
Okay.
And so he used to take us, you know, Muggsy and a group of us guys, OJ, Gerald Wood, Jerry White, and yes, used to work on fundamentals.
Okay.
You know, just taught us the game, just broke it down. And we kind of listened to him. We were like sponges.
Right.
You know, we were, you know, 10, 11, 12 years old. And he took that interest in us.
Okay.
When the gym was closed, he would open it up and he would just teach us the fun of footwork, how to jab step, everything you had to do that pretty much carried us throughout our career.
Okay.
And so he used to take us to like 5-star basketball camp. Nobody in our family had a car, so he used to take us up there and then come pick us up a week later.
Yeah, that's what's up.
He invested a lot of time in us, and a good-hearted guy. I mean, we'll give you the shirt off his back. And so we always respected that, and we give him, you know, every time, you know, to give some kind of accolades or some kind of, you know, hype, we're gonna push Leon Howard out there in front.
Yeah, absolutely. I know he just recently passed away as well, and definitely want to send condolences to his family. Great guy, impacted a lot of youth in the city, for sure. At what point? So were y'all playing like around the city? Was he taking y'all around the city playing in leagues and stuff too?
No, not at that time. It was Edgar Lee Bell, Mr. Lee.
Okay.
Mr. Lee had the teams that, you know, the 13 under teams, and so we started to play with Mr. Lee, Edgar Lee Bell. That's where we started. You know, all of the great players that came out of Lafayette and pretty much Dunbar played for Edgar Lee first.
Okay.
And he was an older gentleman who used to have a small car, and we used to jam pack like 10 guys in that car, man. And I don't know, people were sitting on your lap. Mr. Lee would take everybody home.
Yeah.
Who was in that car.
Yeah.
And so he was he impacted our lives also because he was one of the guys. He didn't live in Lafayette. He was I guess up Edgar Street, up on the hill. They call it.
Okay. Yeah, up the hill. Yeah.
About the hill.
Yeah. Okay.
That's in Park area. And so Mr. Lee, he invested a lot of time. He used to bring boxes of cookies to practice and after the games. And so I think the box of cookies may have been $2 or $3, but you know, that was his thing of, you know, going to get the cookies and bringing the cookies back for the guys, and it was a great experience.
Yeah.
Great experience.
So so as y'all, so Mr. Lee is taking y'all to play in these different leagues around town, and you played with him probably until what? Till you got the
till you turned 15. That's when Leon took over. That's when Leon, when you got to be 15, that's when Leon took over. Mr. Lee had the younger kids, 13 and under. Okay. Then when you became, you know, 15, that's when Leon would have the 15 and 18 under teams.
Okay. So with the 13 and under, when y'all was playing with Mr. Lee, what kind of damage was y'all doing around town?
I mean, we were real good. You know, I just started playing, and I was happy to make the team, and we had older guys on the team. Kosher, Dwayne Wood. Okay. Played at Dunbar, started at Dunbar, so he was older than us, and we had myself and Ralph Lee. Muggsy wasn't on the team yet. All right. And, so we had to learn behind those guys. We didn't play much, but we saw those guys play, and that's how we grew up. It was, you know, then when it was our turn, you know, we showed out. So those guys led the way. You know, the BNBL. Remember the BNBL league? Absolutely. Project Survival. Yep. And so we played in those leagues. You know, Project Survival was up Lake Clifton, and BNBL. You know, they had different sites around us. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so it was fun, man. It was we used to do well. Now you threw a name at Ralph Lee. Yeah. Now Ralph Lee, he was down Maryland with Coach Wade, correct? Yes, correct. All right. So in '88, summer of '88, me and a couple of my friends went to the basketball camp. Oh. For Coach Wade. Okay. at Maryland. So that's where I met Ralph Lee. Okay, yeah. And, I always remember Ralph, you know, he was always giving me little pointers. Big fella, you got to do this, or, you know, do that. So I always remember Ralph. And he's Kirk's brother, correct? Yeah, Kirk. When Ralph went to Poly, we played against him. we grew up in Lafayette, and Ralph, he decided to go to Poly. He would have been very welcome, and would have been a integral part of the Dunbar team, but he chose to go to Poly.
Okay. So let's talk about Ralph right quick. Like, what's Ralph doing these days? Is he still coaching or?
When he went to Xavier out in Ohio, he never came back. So
Okay.
he may be in between, somewhere in the Midwest, Indiana, Ohio area.
Mm-hmm. All right, shout out to Ralph, man. I never forgot Ralph from that week we spent at camp down there.
Mm-hmm.
So you coming up to, it's time to go to high school. So at this point, are you feeling like you kind of confident in your game at that point, or you felt like you still had some learning to do?
Good. Early on,
like as you getting up to get ready to go to high school.
Oh, the high school. I was
before you got to high school, like
I was pretty
leading up to that.
We went through some wars. We played against West Baltimore team, McCullough Holmes. Doing BNBL Project Survival. So yes, I was pretty confident after I got over after the young years. 10. Growing up with my uncle and brother. Who kind of showed me the way. But I was confident by the time I was 13, 14, 15. I was, pretty much confident.
So about 15, how tall was you?
I didn't hit a growth spurt until my ninth grade, the summer of my ninth grade year at Lombard Junior High School, when they had junior high school.
Yeah. I
was maybe 6'3". And then by the time I got to Dunbar, I was 6'6", 6'7".
Okay.
So I grew, during that time. I was wondering why my knees was hurting. I was having bumps on my knees, and I couldn't understand why my knees are hurting. And I was growing during that time. So I went from like 6'3" to pretty much 6'7" in that fast that time period.
Okay. So when was the first time you dunked it?
When I think around 15 to 16 years old.
All right.
Yeah. So, I had, when I grew to 6'7", I still had guard skills because I played guard at 6'2", 6'3". So I had the guard skills.
Okay.
By the time I got, tall 6'7", I still had those skills. So that's why I could beat up on bigger guys from outside and things and maneuver pretty well because I already had learned the guard skills.
Okay. All right. So I'm gonna ask you a silly question. This is a real silly question. Knowing that you lived in Lafayette, half a block from Dunbar, was it any other high schools you was considering?
No. Well, I was zoned. People who live in Lafayette was zoned to go to Southern.
Okay.
But I made a big fuss. My whole family went to Dunbar. I said, I'm going to Dunbar. That was the only school that I ever, heard of, And so, my mother, father, uncles, and my sister, everybody went to Dunbar. So we went up to the education department and said, said, this is where I wanted to go.
Okay.
So they kind of worked it out. And at Dunbar at the time, you either had to be in dental tech or some kind of nursing program to get in Dunbar if you didn't live in the area, the zone area. So I had to apply for the nursing program just to get in there.
Right.
Do the nursing thing, but the classes or whatever, but you had to do that to get in because of the zone.
All right. So the story, big story is that you went, but Muggs didn't in your first year.
Muggs got caught up in the system, the zone in Lafayette. So that's what happened. I had the year I graduated from Lombard Junior High School, my mother and I went up to the Board of Education and made a little fuss. Muggsy didn't do that. So Muggsy had went down to Southern. They made him go to Southern.
Yeah. So did he play at Southern that year?
He played. He played. Yeah, he played.
Okay, all right. Because I don't hear too many stories about Muggs playing down Southern.
Yeah, they didn't do all that great, but he did play. He did play there, a few games or what. I don't know if he finished out the whole year playing, but he did play.
So your first year, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you were a 10th grader?
10th grader, yes.
So I know that was the year y'all had the legendary game with Calvin Hall. Was it like a double overtime?
Yeah, double overtime. Yes.
So and what was the like? Y'all lost by what? I know it was close.
Yeah, somewhere 3 or less, or 4 or less. One of them I can't remember, but it was real close.
Real close game. So real good game. Back and forth.
Chances back and forth. Yeah, it was probably one of the best games I played in high school.
And that was at Towson?
Towson State, yeah.
Towson, okay. So how many games did y'all lose that year?
We lost 3 that year.
3 that year. And those are the only 3 you ever lost in high school?
That's the only 3 games I lost in high school.
So now is it true that after that game, Coach Wade looked at Muggs and told him it was his fault they lost?
Yeah, he kind of threw it up there. Yeah, he was feeling it. Muggsy was at that game too, and he wanted to be so bad, man. And Mr. Wade, after he got on the team, he said, "Yeah, your fault, Muggs, for not getting in there a little early or whatever." So Muggs, I'm bad, but yeah, Muggs, he felt the pain. He felt the pain.
Yeah, I read that somewhere. I said, man, I wonder did that really happen?
Yeah,
that's crazy though. But so y'all get through that first year, then Muggs come down, and then the run start. Yeah. That historic run y'all went on started, man. Just talk to me about that squad. The first, those 2 years, man, that squad. I mean, you got 4 guys off that squad that was 3 first round draft picks, and Wingate was the first pick in the second round.
Yeah,
when he went. Yeah. I mean, just the makeup of the team, man. I mean, let's kind of talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it was a team, man, where we went through a whole lot in practice. Wade put us through a whole lot. He was a big disciplinarian, and he believed in getting in shape. That football mentality, because he was a football guy. Yep. And man, 3-4 hours a day. Bricks, sandbags on our backs, running sprints, and everything. We did with those bricks. So by the time we got to the game, we were already mad.
Right.
You got the talent, you got the ability, and then you're mad on top of that because the coach, just beating you up in practice. So we came out and took it out on, our opponents.
Yeah.
And so we had, had a lot of good players on that team, man. Even from the starters until pretty much the 15 man on the squad could have, on any other team, in the city, and they sacrificed to be on that team.
And that's something I don't think would happen today.
No,
with the mentality of people today, just that sacrifice. When you got guys, you said probably the 10 other, so if you got the starting 5, y'all played the bulk of the minutes. You got 10 other guys that probably could have started anywhere else.
Yeah.
And got minutes. And they made that sacrifice to be a part of those teams. And I know for sure you wouldn't see that today.
No, you're not going to see that. That doesn't happen today. Look at college with that portal. Some guys on teams every year. Yep. Teams every year. If they're not getting the time or they're not getting the shine, they rolling out.
Yeah, for sure.
So, I think it messes up the college game. Kind of water it down. But that's the way it is right now.
Yeah. So those practices outside of the, Mr. Wade pushing y'all and with the bricks and the sandbag, what was the play like? Going against each other every day.
I mean, it was crazy. You're going against guys just as good as you were, and it kind of pushes you to be good. Because you're playing against that guy, and he's going after you, you're going after him. So by the time we got in the game, we were feeling good.
Yeah.
Because we went against that type of guy in practice.
Right.
Right. So it's very competitive, and we went after each other. We just didn't back off. So those practices kind of pushed the guys who were starting. You had to earn your time.
Yeah.
And your space. And so the second team pushes the first team, the third team pushes the second team. So it was a fight all the way through.
Yeah. And that iron sharpening iron.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Coach Wade, who I know, I know Coach Wade. I know the Wade family. Miss Carolyn and my family grew up around the corner from each other, so
Okay.
I've been knowing them pretty much as long as I can remember.
Yeah.
So, knowing his personality, because off the court, he's a nice guy, humble guy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But I can imagine, having that kind of talent in the numbers that he had. You talking 15 deep on that team. He's a football guy, so he's got some toughness about him.
Yeah.
What does Coach Wade mean to you? Just outside of basketball, just Coach Wade, the person.
Yeah, I mean, he's one of the people in my life who impacted me. Mr. Wade, he even hired me to be a cashier at his liquor store. Okay. He always gave guys opportunities to come up there to make some money during the weekend, Saturdays and Sundays. And I remember taking accounting, and he had an accountant that lived next door to him. Mm-hmm. So I was having a little rough time with the accounting. So I used to stay over there during the weekday.
Okay.
And the guy used to help me out with the accounting, and he bring me in to school the next day. So he means a lot to me. A guy who impacted me. Even though he beat us up in practice, he's a totally different person. Off the playing field.
Yeah, absolutely, so, absolutely.
He helped a lot of guys. He got a good product, from the Eggerly Bells and Leon Howard, who taught us all the fundamentals, and Mr. Wade kind of sharpened everything up.
Okay.
And, taught us how to be disciplined, stand in top physical condition. So that was his job, and make sure, everything was tight.
Okay. So now I know some of y'all guys came from Lafayette, but also know like Wingate, Reggie Lewis, I think David Lewis, they came from Cecil.
Yeah.
So now these guys y'all competing against in the summer times and probably all growing up. So how was that when y'all all came together?
Well,
was it any animosity or?
It wasn't no animosity because Cecil usually would have gotten bumped off before we got to them. So we never really had a rivalry because they lost before they got to us.
Okay.
So we never had that rivalry. Cecil and Lafayette. We used to have like a rivalry with the Madison guys, Pop Tubman.
Okay, Pop Tubman, and the guys went to Calvert Hall.
Yeah, but all those guys, man, they great guys. We never had no kind of animosity towards them. They never had no animosity towards us.
Okay.
But when we played together, we competed.
Right.
We wasn't friends on court.
Absolutely.
Off the court it can be one thing, but on the court we competed.
Mm-hmm. All right. So y'all going on this run, 82. Wingate was a senior, and then of course y'all was the class of 83. So just going through that first year, I think 82 was the year. I think you, Dunbar, and Calvert Hall ended up like 1 and 2 in the nation or something like that.
Nation, yeah.
So what was the deal with not getting that game?
Well, we wanted the game, and they didn't want the game. They didn't want to lose that number 1 spot because we had a butt whooping waiting for them. After that year, when they got us in that triple overtime, and they didn't want that.
Yeah.
And so they didn't want to play us after. So because they had the number 1 spot in the country, they wanted to take that thing home.
Yeah.
So we were ready, but we were pushing. Wade was calling, working the phones, and we were ready to get at them, right? But they didn't want it. They didn't want that problem. They didn't want that problem.
So did y'all ever unofficially play them like y'all guys got together on the court somewhere and played, or?
No, we never did it. But Pop Tubman, he always tried to remind me, yeah, we got y'all. And I told him, yeah, man, y'all got us, but it wasn't right what them referees was doing. I said, y'all got some home treatment.
Got some home cooking.
So home cooking, right? So we laughed about that, yeah. So he does remind me that they did get us. I said, I was a sophomore.
Yeah. So, but that would have been huge, for just to get that game at the end of that season with both
Oh,
of y'all
yeah.
undefeated.
Yeah.
Both of y'all number 1 and 2 in the Nick. That would have been huge for the city, man. You
Yeah.
play that thing down the arena, but down the Civic Center back then.
If they didn't have that number 1 spot, that ranking, I think they would have played it, but they didn't want to lose that number 1 ranking.
So if it was flip flop,
Yeah,
they would have wanted to try to bump y'all up.
You know that, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. All right. So now you're going into your senior year. You are considered the number 1 player in the country by pretty much everybody that I've read up on. You were the guy. You the number 1 guy on the number 1 team in the country. But then you're quiet and humble guy.
Mhm.
So do you walk around with your chest out a little bit more, or you just still you just I'm humble. It's whatever.
Yeah, I am what I am, man. I don't like all the shine on me. It's always team first or whatever. And no, I didn't walk around like that.
Okay.
You wouldn't even notice me. Half the time, if I didn't talk much. So
yeah.
So
that's the word. That's the word on the street. That's
just
the
a
word
regular
on the
guy.
street, man. Yeah, the word on the street. Reds ain't do a lot of talking.
Yeah, ain't not a lot of talking. I did a lot of listening, and still today. But no, I didn't walk around, boasting and bragging and things. I was confident in my ability, but I didn't, put that on anybody. When I seen people, I thought I was better than this person or that person, so I just pretty much kept to myself.
Okay, so let's talk about this. How was that run, man? Going through your senior year, y'all pretty much. So far as traveling, was y'all traveling like I know like later Sam Cassell them guys was going to Hawaii and stuff like that. Was y'all traveling like that or?
Well, not extravagant like that, going to Hawaii. But we traveled to New York. Back in the day, they used to bypass Baltimore to go to Philly to New York.
Right.
They had the best players, and then now, Baltimore. We brought that light on Baltimore. Now Baltimore got the best players. Yeah. And so we went to New York. We had to go up there and take care of that business. We went to Kentucky, Pennsylvania. Played against some pretty good teams, but we, that was like pretty much the start of it. It was the beginning of the travel team, and then I think they kind of took it away. I don't know. They was talking about like 300 miles now. You couldn't go.
Okay, yeah, I was familiar with that.
So, now I don't now I think, but back then we were probably doing more traveling than the high schools in the area.
Right. So the game against was it Billy Thompson and them? Was that y'all junior year or senior year?
Camden.
Was that your junior or senior year?
That was junior.
That was junior year. Mm-hmm. And that's the game where they was mocking Muggs out there.
Yeah, they called Muggs out. They look at that little boy. They laughing, and I just told them, I say, Muggs, at the end of the game, they're gonna be crying, buddy. And they were crying at the end of the game. Muggs tore that butt up, man.
Muggs have gotten it as
the young guy, Kevin Walls, was a sophomore.
Mm-hmm.
And he was so scared he didn't even want to dribble the ball. Muggsy picked him up from baseline to baseline. And after the game, man, at the halftime, the game was over. We was up 25.
Yeah.
And so at the end of the game, they stood and gave us a standing ovation. Muggsy, a standing ovation, man. I never seen that before.
Yeah. I've heard a couple people that claim they went to that game.
Yeah,
you know how it go. Each year is about 10,000 more people said they was at the game.
Yeah, and that year, Calvert Hall and Camden had went through a tough game.
Mm-hmm.
When we got to Camden, we the coach said, well, he ain't never seen a team like that. So we went up there. It was like an old castle, kind of real dark and gloomy.
Mm-hmm.
It came out 6'7", 6'8", 6'9", dunking the ball and everything, and we just was looking at him. Okay. Wait the tip off.
Showtime, huh?
Yeah, showtime,
yeah. So, all right. So now, you like I say, so you was a senior. You the play, you considered the number 1 guy. Y'all running through everything. Was it any close games your senior year?
Yeah, it was some close games. In the tournament out in Pennsylvania, we played, I think, a New York team. Kenny Hutchison, he came out of New York, went to Arkansas.
Okay.
And so that game was tough. It was a few tough games we had to get through. We had to, muster up, but we got through them, and it was good. It was good that we went through that adversity.
Okay. All right. And so, getting down to, you're getting toward the end. Did you make your college decision early, or did you do it later in the year?
I didn't. Junior, senior year.
Yeah.
I made it later. Because I visited. I wanted to, go out and see some of the colleges because until my senior year, I never been on a plane.
Okay.
So I wanted to get out and see what was out there.
So I mean, you got pretty much your pick of schools being the number one guy. So who did you narrow it down, like your top 5? Or where did you take visits to?
Top 5, it was UCLA, Kentucky, Louisville, Georgetown, and I think Georgia Tech, I think.
So who was coaching at UCLA at the time?
Larry Farmer.
Okay.
He had played. He was a Bruin back in the day. Played with I think Kareem back in the day.
Okay. And so you went to those were your 5 visits?
Yeah. Let me see. Yep, I did visit those teams. Yeah, and then I visited Tennessee also.
Okay. All right. So what's that like? What's those visits like back in '83?
Oh, for me, it was really nice because they sent private planes up to Baltimore. I'm flying, with the assistant coach or coaches, and Mr. Wade went with me a couple of times because it was my first time flying. So he flew down to a few spots with me, but I thought it was wonderful, man. I was eating shrimp and steak, man. I said, this is great.
Yeah. So they rolled the red carpet out for you.
Yeah, so I was having a little fun,
Yeah.
Not to be on, never been on a plane before.
Right. So when it come down to decision time, what was the deciding factor for you?
Well, let me see. I also visited Maryland too, because I grew up loving Maryland.
Okay.
From Ernie Graham, LG, Larry Gibson, Brad Davis, all those guys I could name it. Albert King, I could name all the guys on the team. And so Georgetown wasn't even on the map.
Okay.
They was just a small little Catholic school in DC until, they became Georgetown when the Big East started in 79, 80.
Yeah.
But Maryland was, always our team, so, I also was, thinking about Maryland also.
Okay. All right. So when you get to decision time, what is it that you made you want to say, I'm gonna go to Georgetown?
It was simple. I said I wanted to play with one of the best big men in the country, and Patrick Ewing was one of the best big men in the country.
Yeah, ain't no doubt about that.
And I was 45 minutes away from home. My family, friends could see me play.
Yeah.
I did look at UCLA, but I'm saying it was 3,000 miles away.
Yeah.
North Carolina, Dean Smith, I did. That was one of my top. They were in the top 5 also.
Okay.
North Carolina. And so Dean Smith called me, and him and John Thompson, great friend.
Yeah.
He told me, I guess John Thompson must have whispered in his ear. Dean Smith told me, Reggie, I want you to go to Georgetown. I said, yeah, he said, I want you to go to Georgetown. So he started recruiting me, but he was recruiting me. I guess Big John got to him.
Wow. That's tough.
Yeah.
Tough. And I know that coaches wouldn't do something like that now.
No.
No, indeed. Not the number one guy. And, go ahead and go over there.
Yep. Nah. That was Michael Jordan Jr. year. Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Now, if you'd went to UCLA,
I was getting ready to go visit them,
and
he called me, and I guess Big John was crying. Don't touch, because he didn't want Dean to come in this area and get the top player, and it's like vice versa. You know what I mean? So friends or whatever. And he did call me. He said, Reggie, I know you want to come down and visit or whatever, but I want you to go to Georgetown. So
that's tough right there.
Yeah, I said, okay, coach.
That's tough.
Yeah.
That's tough, man. So now, if you'd have went to UCLA, you and Reggie Miller are the same class, correct?
Yeah, same class. Yes.
So y'all would have
That's why
been.
Reggie got there because they were recruiting me hard, and once I backed out, that's when they got Reggie.
So all right. So if you would have went, Reggie probably would have went to UCLA.
Probably wouldn't have got there. Yeah.
Okay. I was ready to say they'd have had both of y'all at the same time. I don't know if they've got enough balls out there.
Yeah.
Man, that's tough. So you decide you're going to Georgetown.
Yeah.
Did your guy Wingate help you with that, or
Wingate didn't help me?
He didn't.
No, Wingate didn't say anything because I guess when I got there, Big John is hard on freshmen.
Right.
So Wingate stayed out of it. He said, "Reg, I didn't want to get into it, man." And he said, Big John is rough on freshmen, man. And I said, "Woo." I'd have known this up front, man. I wouldn't have came over here. You couldn't do nothing, man. You couldn't talk to the media.
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't practice. The freshmen, myself, Michael Graham, and another guy that came from the Army. Yeah. We kept the upperclassmen running, doing something because we couldn't do nothing right. You know what I mean? So they kind of took out on us, man. It was rough the freshman year. Even though we were winning, it was rough.
Wow. So, man, I would have figured, your high school teammate would have.
Didn't tell me nothing, man. I was mad at Wingate too, man. I said, "Man, you ain't tell me this." He didn't tell me anything. He didn't tell me
wow. Anything. So, and you brought up Mike Graham. Mike Graham is one of my Facebook friends.
Oh, okay.
I had, I posted that I was going to have you on my show. And he said he was going to be watching. I don't know if he's watching now, but he did tell you hello.
Okay, that's what man.
So shout out to Mike Graham.
We were roommates, classmates, and everything. Yeah.
So I'm trying to get Mike on the show too. I know he's working with that semi-pro basketball like right now. So we try to work around his schedule, get him up on here too.
Okay, yeah, it'd be fun
for sure. Yeah. So all right. So all right. So before we go to Georgetown, before we get to Georgetown, you mentioned guys like Ernie Graham, Baltimore guy, legend.
Mm-hmm.
That was a few years ahead of you. Who were some of the other guys that you kind of looked up to as you was coming up?
Kevin Bush, Dwayne Wood, those guys came out of Lafayette Project.
Mm-hmm.
They were the first real good players I've seen.
Yeah.
I didn't see Skip play.
Okay.
And, I think he, I remember when he was a freshman at Clemson when I started to get into basketball. I might have seen one or two games, but I didn't see Skip coming up. Even, a little older than I was. But the guys, Kevin Bush and Dwayne, Kenny Missouri, Barry Scott, a lot of really good players that helped Dunbar, that was pretty much it. Yeah. So it was a lot of guys who I looked up to and said, "Ooh, these guys are good.
They can go." Okay.
They can go.
All right. Yeah. So
my game like this, taking, stealing stuff a little bit from here to there. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's how it go. That's how it is.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, let me do this before we get to Georgetown, because I know that you did some coaching. You was coaching high school kids for a few years. So what kind of things were you doing to get your game ready? Because now everybody into like working out with trainers, and it's a little different than what it was even when I was growing up. I'm a little younger than you.
Yeah.
We definitely wasn't going to trainers.
No.
We played a lot, and we may have went to a camp if you could afford it.
Yeah.
And that wasn't even something that was pretty popular because a lot of people just couldn't afford to go. But what was kind of things y'all was doing? You get y'all games right.
You worked out by yourself a lot. When I was at Georgetown, we had a female trainer who helped us with weights and nutrition and things like that, Miss Lori Michaels. So she, we spent a lot of time, since I was so close, I used to go over there and work out with her.
Okay.
During the summertime, a couple of days a week.
Okay.
And she would, go through all the machines and things like that. So that was our trainer.
Yeah.
It wasn't no big time trainer, shooting coach and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
It was none of that stuff. Dribbling coach. It was like simple, you come over there and work out, train, and then when you lift, you went on the court and you put some shots up, and then the guys would come back, and we used to play full court or half court or whatever what we were doing during the summer times.
So as a guy that's been through it, and I know times have changed, like what's your feeling on like the trainers and all of the stuff that the kids are doing now, just to to try to get a look?
I think it's a positive if you got guys who into the kids, who it's all about the kids, helping them grow, helping them get better and things like that. I don't see a problem with that.
Okay.
I mean, I don't think you have to pay crazy money, but you have to pay for people's services and things like that. But I don't think they should be beating them upside the head.
I mean,
basketball, because the guys who helped me didn't want a dime. They just wanted to see me, grow.
Right.
Right. So back in our day, they just wanted to see, so they can brag. Yeah, I helped him, helped him do this.
Yeah.
But, I think it's a need for it, because basketball is 24 hours a day. So guys, if you're not working on your game, you're not going to be in no leagues, and you ain't going to, scholarships are not going to be there. So, you got to be on this AAU circuit, just like when I grew up. Growing up, I didn't play AAU ball. I never heard of AAU ball.
Okay.
I think I played 15 under. We went to Richmond.
Okay.
I didn't know how big it was. They had, soccer. They had a whole bunch of the youth games. Remember the youth games?
Yeah. I remember youth games. Yeah.
We played down in Richmond for like 4 or 5 days.
Okay.
And so we came out and we won the bronze medal. I think I was around 15.
Okay.
So, but the AAU so big, and the grassroots basketball is so big, man. It's just, just keep on rolling. It just keep rolling.
Yeah. So all right, now we at Georgetown. We coming into that freshman year. Now I've heard you tell a story. I heard Muggs tell a story that Muggs wanted to go to Georgetown, and Big John didn't want him.
Yeah, Big John said he would get fired if he picked Muggsy up. I laughed at him because I asked him to get Muggsy too, and I said, man, we need him.
Yeah.
He didn't. He was very boisterous about it. He said, well, I'll get fired, and that was his statement right there. And, and if he would have got Muggsy, he would have been a genius.
Oh man, I mean, I'm just imagining Muggs on that press.
Yeah.
I mean, he could have been a press by himself.
We're looking at we lost in '85. I mean, we might have gotten at least 2 championships out of that deal. You know what I mean? Because my '87 year, we lost in Elite 8, and I was the only senior because Michael Graham, they put him out of school.
Yep.
And I had all the young guys with me. So if I had Muggsy, that's all I needed is one more player. You know what I mean? So you're looking at 3, maybe 2 championships out of that. Yeah.
So and we gonna get to that 87 team. But so you come in as a freshman, you finding out about Big John and all of his antics, and you now full disclosure, I'm a fan, Reg, so I follow you. I've seen you talk about some of this stuff.
Yeah.
And you told a story about your freshman year, and you about to get up out of there.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, yeah, just like I told you, he rough on freshmen, man. And I'm a type of player, you just tell me what to do, and I'm going to do it and go above and beyond.
Mm-hmm.
So, but John Thompson, he wanted, keep digging in you.
Yeah.
So, one day after practice, after I got finished, I told one of my mentors, Leon Howard, actually, come over here and get me. But I didn't tell him that I was staying home. And so, he came and picked me up, and I think Mr. Wade had called him. Big John was asking around, and Leon called me and said, Reg, are you going back? I said, hell no, I'm not going back. He said, well, they going to look at me crazy, Reg. They're going to blame it on me. I said, man, I don't care. I ain't going back over there. I'm getting another school. And so I was out for like 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Then, he Leon talked me into going back. And
Okay.
I met the team in Vegas. I was starting averaging double figures, maybe 10 or 11.
Mm-hmm.
So when I came back, he didn't start me anymore. So I came off the bench. So,
Okay.
uh,
So what was your relationship with Coach after that?
I mean, it was okay. I mean, I just felt that it wasn't the same, but I was too good of a player for him to just say, "Hey, stay home," or "I don't want you anymore."
Right.
So, but he had to compromise. He had to compromise a little bit. And but I didn't care really. I just wanted to be on a good team and learn and then move on. So I didn't let it bother me. It might have bothered him, but it didn't bother me.
Okay. So would you consider Coach Thompson a good coach, like as far as X and O's and really knowing that game like that?
Well, I don't know. He didn't use the whiteboard a whole lot. His motivation was pretty much pushing you, fussing and fighting with you. You know what I mean? Right. So it wasn't like a Dean Smith, throwing up, out of bound plays and things like that. We had plays, but he wasn't real. I would say he wasn't real magical with it. You know what I mean?
Right.
But, I mean, he got out his team what he needed.
Okay.
Because he played on some great Celtics teams with Bill Russell. Auerbach was the coach, so he knew basketball. You know what I mean? He knew basketball. He knew defense. He knew how to recruit players that complemented Patrick. So he did. The question was, do you think he was a good coach? Yes.
Okay. So somebody asked, what would you have done, or where would you have went if you didn't go back to Georgetown?
I was looking at Kentucky, even UCLA, but I never contacted anybody. I just was, just contemplating, contemplating different things.
Yeah. All right. So, you're coming off a great 2-year run at Dunbar. Y'all didn't lose. What was it, like 59-0?
Yeah, 59-0. Yes.
Yeah. So you go right out of that, and you come into Georgetown. When you looking around that gym at Georgetown, what's your first thoughts of the team?
No, I thought from the jump that we could win a national championship.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how we was going to get there and who we had to go through, but I felt that team could win a national championship. And it's funny, when we went through the seasons, St. John's, St. John, the Syracuse, and Villanova, they were tough matchup, home or away. They beat us home, we beat them home. And so, but when we got in the playoffs and when they come out with the brackets, don't you know when the newspaper come out with the bracket?
Yeah.
I had filled out the bracket, and I had us winning the national championship. So the lady who usually be sitting behind our bench, Miss Finland, our coordinator, she got a whiff of me my paper.
Right.
And she said, "Reggie, what you doing?" I said, "I'm picking my teams, and I'm picking us as winning the national championship." She said, "You got us winning the national championship?" I said, "Yes." She said, "Good boy." So I laid it right on out. All the teams we're gonna beat and who we're gonna meet and everything. So I need to make some money off of that one, boy.
Yeah, for sure. So you thought right off the break, y'all had enough to get it done.
I thought we had the team. Hell of a defensive team. We had the best shot blocking in the country.
Yeah, absolutely.
We had shooters, so we had inside outside game, and we were battle tested in the Big East. So I thought from the jump that we could win a national championship that year.
Yeah. So around that time, I'm about 12 years old.
Oh, you trying to make me old, man?
Hey, well, I got more gray than you, so. So I became a Georgetown fan in '82.
Okay.
Watching that championship game. That's the first game I ever watched from start to finish.
Well,
that Monday, that championship game. Man.
It's funny you said that because I was a junior. I might have been a sophomore or junior. And I said, well, we'll win the championship. That's where I want to go.
Really?
Carolina won, right? So I said that. I was telling people, I said, whoever win the championship, that's where I want to go.
That's where you're going. Yeah. And then you went opposite.
Yeah, went opposite. Yep.
And it's funny. And the winning coach talked you out of it.
Yeah, the winning coach talked me out of it. Yep.
Crazy. But that game, man, like I said, I was probably 10 years old. I remember, I didn't know nothing about Georgetown, Big John, Patrick, none of that. I just remember the game was on and I started watching it. And, right away, with Patrick with the block shots right in the first part of the game. And then Big John, this is the first time I probably ever recognized a black coach.
Yeah.
I don't know what the significance was for me at that age, but it stuck out. It stood out. And then by the time, you got there and Wingate was there, y'all Baltimore guys, I'm aware of who you were, just because of, Dunbar was the team.
Yeah, Dunbar, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm aware of who you were. I remember seeing you in the, I think we used to get the Ebony magazines. They used to always have the McDonald All-American team in it. I remember seeing your picture in that. So, Georgetown, and then, the thing now, everybody thought Georgetown was a black school.
Yeah. Yeah.
We all thought Georgetown was a black school, man. You got Big John, the whole squad is black, man, and y'all played like y'all was round the way.
Round the way, yeah.
The game was real familiar to us. and man, the way John shuffled y'all in and out, I mean, it was magical, man. It was just like, everybody, I'm sure, wanted to go to Georgetown, whether they could play or not.
Yeah.
Everybody wanted to go. Now, I'm gonna tell you this, I was a little different than most, because everybody had the Georgetown starter jacket.
Yeah, the starter jacket, yeah.
I got a Milwaukee Bucks.
Milwaukee Bucks at that time?
Yeah, just because I wanted to be different.
Oh, you want to be different, okay.
I just wanted to be different. I didn't want to have the Georgetown like everybody else. But I was a Georgetown fan for sure.
Yeah.
And I tried not to miss a game. When I remember Big Monday was huge.
Oh yeah, Mondays and Wednesdays.
Big Monday, yep.
Big East, yeah, that was crazy, man.
Yep. And then you might catch a game like on a Sunday afternoon or Saturday afternoon or something like on CBS or something like that. But Georgetown was it. Y'all guys was like superheroes to a lot of people. And we ain't got to talk about 85. I know that's a sore subject with y'all guys.
It's 30-some years old. I still haven't watched the whole game. I sometimes it comes on a classic. I might look at the second half or the first half. I haven't looked from start to beginning.
From start to finish, yeah.
That was another championship we should have had.
Yeah, y'all should have had that one.
Yeah, should have had that one too. Yeah.
But the championship y'all did win in 84. I mean, you were the most outstanding player of that game as a freshman. I think you had 19, 20 points?
Yeah, 19, I think.
Something like that. So what's your feeling at that point? You just won a national championship in high school. You come right to college. You won a national championship in college. Did you feel like, man, we just gonna win it every time?
Yeah, that's how I felt. We were leading to that too.
Yeah.
86. It was pretty much like a down year for us. We got into the tournament. We won one game and we lost. Lost a game.
Michigan State, wasn't it?
We were out early, but we usually be in there, for the second, third weekend. So that was different on that part. But sometimes it goes like that.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I felt that way. I was trending to that.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, if things go a different way, maybe like if Mike Graham had hung around.
Yeah, hung around a little longer.
If Muggs had came, I mean, different things happen, but y'all had a great run.
Yeah.
Either way.
Yeah.
It was a great run either way.
Yep.
And so, I remember the 86 team now. A couple years ago, I used to work the graveyard shift.
Okay.
So to keep me up sometime, I would watch Netflix or go on YouTube. So I got into this thing. I would just pull up these old games. And I pulled up a game from 86, Georgetown against St. John's. I want to say it was up there. And you and Mark Jackson was, and I don't even remember Mark Jackson scoring like that. But this particular game, man, y'all was going at it. He was bucket for bucket.
Okay.
Yeah, bucket for bucket, man. But that was just one of the games that stood out because I don't think you missed.
Oh,
I don't think you missed, man. You had it going that night.
yeah. You know, that was you said 86?
86, yeah. Yeah, because Wingate, you know, y'all still had Wingate, Michael Jackson on
Senior, junior year.
Yeah, junior year, yeah. But you was cooking, man.
Yeah, if Mark was hitting a lot of buckets, I mean, that was because he wasn't known for the hit.
No, he wasn't. Well, he had a great game that night.
Great game that day.
Yeah, he had a great game that game. So you know, we're going into that 87 year. Reggie and the Miracles. So where did that name come from?
Thompson made it up.
Thompson
made it up. You know, I was a lone senior.
Yeah.
And so he came up with that slogan, you know, a young team. I don't know where it came from, but that was the narrative for that year, man. So we stuck with it.
Yeah, that's my favorite team.
Yeah.
That's my favorite Georgetown team of all, that 87 squad.
You know, everybody was gone. Patrick was gone. Michael Jackson. I'm there by myself, right? So what Georgetown going to do now? You know what I mean? So I guess they didn't know my resume.
They didn't know. They I guess they figured it was over. You ain't had no help.
Oh, they thought it was over.
But y'all won the Big East.
Yeah, won the Big East. Yep.
And the tournament.
And we were seeded number 1 in the South down in Atlanta, Georgia. Got through that. And you know, Providence, another Big East. You know, that's why I don't like playing Big East schools in a tournament because they are rivals. They know us.
They know you. Yeah. And that was young Rick Pitino, right?
Yeah. You know, Rick Pitino had everything on his side. You know, he had lost his I think one of his babies during that time. So he got all the sympathy throughout the nation. And we had to play him.
And he had what's my guy that was the end up being the coach? Billy Donovan.
Billy the Kid.
Billy Donovan and Delray Brooks, right?
Delray Brooks, he had that team.
Yeah. And I watched that one too one night while I was working overnight. I watched it. It was tough.
I got an early foul trouble, and
you sure did.
Put me back in the game. He wouldn't put me back in the game. I said, "Don't let it get away from us."
Yeah,
put me back in the game. You know, so I was pissed off about that.
Yeah. So now, I guess with players of your stature, with Big John reputation, you know, he kind of come off as is no nonsense, his way or the highway. Hold on, we lost him. You back? Hold tight. Got my man Reggie, man. Who in the building checking in? I said I got some people watching. Let me know who watching, man. It's going pretty good. So yeah, we here talking to Georgetown, Baltimore NBA veteran Reggie Williams, man, having a great conversation right now with my guy. Having a little technical difficulties at this moment, so we're gonna work it out in a minute. Give me 1 second.
There he is.
There she is.
You right on
How
here.
You doing?
I'm sorry about that.
No, we good. We worked it out. All right. So we back. Yeah, we back.
Okay, we back.
All right, we back now. So I was saying, like, Big John, he seemed, I mean, you know, Big John is no nonsense. He seemed like it's his way or the highway. But I guess with a player with your stature, you know, you could kind of go to him and coach, you know, we need to do this. Or did y'all have that kind of flow, or was it just whatever he said went?
Well, whatever he said went, but you know, he listened somewhat. When we were in the title game against Villanova, before Billy Martin made that bad pass on the wing. You know, Billy never played that position. That's my position on the wing. Billy plays down low. And so before that happened, I told Coach, put me back in the game because you know, I was coming off the St. John's game. I had sprained my ankle. So I was nursing that throughout the Final Four. And the week before the championship game, you know, a couple of days before the championship. So I was icing night and day.
Yeah.
And I tweaked it again in the St. John's game. So, I wasn't really healthy in the championship game. So he kept on putting me off offensive defense, putting Perry McDonald in.
Right.
And, and I come out, I'm scoring 10 points in the first half. I'm ready to roll, right? I don't need to be in and out. There wasn't nobody on that team great on offense, you know what I mean? And so, when he had me on the bench before Billy made that pass, I told him put me back in the game, and he didn't put me back in the game. And Billy, that kind of changed the outcome of the game.
Right.
Because we were starting the ball, bringing them out, and Billy, yes, it was an errant pass, and the tides had turned.
Yeah, and in that game in particular, Villanova. I mean, so it wasn't no shot clock then either, right?
No shot clock.
No shot clock. So they moved that ball around, and they didn't miss that second. I know for sure they didn't miss the second half, but maybe one shot.
Yeah, they didn't take many shots.
Yeah,
and they didn't miss. Yeah,
yeah. They had to play that way to beat y'all.
They had to play that way to beat us. Yep.
Yeah. So if it was a shot clock, what was it, like a 45-second?
Yeah, when the shot clock in. 45-second came in the year after the next year.
Okay. Yeah. So if it was a shot clock, y'all could have sped them up a little bit.
Yeah, we could have sped them up a little more. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, but I still watch that game sometime and hope that the outcome is a little different.
Oh yeah. Yep. We had some opportunities, but just like I said, when I was feeling it, like I was going to have a big game.
Yeah.
Going back and forth and things like that, and I got a little, out of rhythm.
Okay.
For the second half, you know what I mean. So, but hey, you live and learn, and you can't win them all. You can't win them all.
Yeah. So you get through that. You get through your senior year. We get to, I guess Greg go to the draft and everything that comes with that after your season is over. What is that process like for you? Did you like work out for different teams? Did you especially once you knew the draft order, was you kind of flying around working out?
Oh yeah. When you looked at as one of the top prospects that they want to bring you in the first 4 or 5 picks, pretty much the top 10 players who they think they may wind up drafting. I went to LA, I went to Phoenix because they had the number 2 pick. And so they was unsure what they were going to do, if they had an agent, Walter Davis, there. So if they were going to bring me in to, come behind him or learn from him or whatever. But I had went out there and Elgin Baylor, you didn't work out for teams, but Elgin, he thought he still was young. So he wanted to play one-on-one. He wanted to play one-on-one to see what you had, right? So, but it was funny, man. But you went out and talk to the team. I guess they want to see, what you was talking about, how you feel about, if you get drafted by them.
Yeah.
So those type of conversations and things, man. So
did you bust Elgin up bad, or you took?
Yeah, it just was 1 or 2 possessions, whatever. Those older guys, they try to put the hand check on. Back in the day, they had the hand so they can guide you all over the place.
Yeah.
So that was funny, man.
So Elgin Baylor, how tall was he?
Elgin Baylor was 6'5".
6'5". Okay, so he's a big guy.
Yeah,
big guy. All right, so before the draft, before you get to the draft, it's a possibility that Muggsy and Reggie Lewis could have been all drafted that night. Is that something y'all talked about prior, or?
No, we didn't talk about it at all. I don't know if Muggs came to he might have came up to New York. I'm not sure. But we didn't talk about being drafted or how high, how low. We didn't even talk about that. We knew all 3 of us had a chance to get drafted.
Okay. So of course on that night, the 3 of you guys get drafted. I don't know if that's ever happened before where 3 guys from the same team, high school team, get picked in the first round.
Yeah, not in the first round. Yeah.
So once that happens, what's the feeling like at that moment for y'all guys?
It was great. I didn't know. I knew Muggsy would get drafted, but I didn't know he was going to get drafted that high by the hometown team. You know what I mean? So, I was very happy about that. When I got drafted, I said, "Well, I'm waiting on Muggs. I'm waiting on Muggs. Then I'm waiting on Reggie. I'm waiting on Reggie." So we kind of supported each other in that way.
Okay. Yeah, and that was big, man. I didn't know much about Reggie Lewis at that time, but I, of course, learned about him.
Yeah.
And even that he was even on that Dunbar team because I never heard of him.
Yeah, he came out. He came up from the Cecil Kirk. He played behind myself and Wingate. He learned from some good guys, and he became a really good player.
Yeah, a really good player, man. And just talk about Reggie, because it's ironic. I saw somebody post about him on Facebook yesterday. Would have been his birthday.
Oh, okay.
Yep. So yesterday was his birthday. I said that's crazy. I'm gonna be talking to Reggie today, and I did have want to ask you about Reggie. And I know from what I heard, he was a quiet guy as well.
Yeah.
So you got two quiet guys, and both of y'all guys are had great college careers, and then your first round draft picks. Did y'all have like a close relationship, or just because y'all was quiet, it was just
Yeah, we were. Let me see. Like in high school, we didn't talk much. Not because we didn't like each other. We just didn't know each other. I guess you didn't talk to learn about the other person or whatever. But when we became professional, we started to build a relationship. When I came to Boston, he always took me out, even to LA. So we were starting to, build that relationship. And then, in '92, what happened in '92?
Yeah.
I was very disappointed about that because we just was getting to know each other,
right.
Talk on the phone and things like that. So it was a bad situation, man.
So let me ask you about another guy that's in your era. The great Len Bias. Did you ever play against Lenny like summer leagues and like Kennel League or coalition anything?
In 5-star basketball camp, that was it. I didn't know about Lenny, you know what I mean? And we at 5-star, the best players are the waiters.
Okay.
So we served the camp breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So we could, the table, you have like 10, 12 kids, and you go up there and get their breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and you bring it to them. So we paid like half price of 5-star.
Oh, okay.
Waiter, if you was one of the better players, Mr. Garfinkel would that's how he drew, the top players.
Okay.
By letting them be waiters, and you pay half, and then you just wait the tables.
Okay.
They didn't have to. That we were the labor. They didn't have to hire nobody. You know what I mean?
Right. That's smart.
So if you was the waiter, you were the best players in the camp.
Okay. All right. So you didn't really know much. You didn't know Lenny like that.
No, until probably after the 5-star camp, when he went to Maryland, and he really, was, outstanding. It's pretty much his last year. He was good, but he kind of raised his game up as, when he became a senior.
Yeah. So like y'all never bumped like at the coalition or in the Kennel League, nothing like that?
The same barber and things like that, but not much. It was still like Maryland and Georgetown. It was like split down the middle.
Yeah.
You stay on your part of town, I stay on my part of town.
Okay. All right. All right. Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, RIP to Lenny and Reggie. Now it's interesting. It's something me and my friends talk about a little bit. How would those two have played together? Had they lived, and I think Boston would have still took Reggie at that same spot the following year because he was a late round pick.
Yeah, I think so. Larry Bird, he was kind of, Larry was hurting, was having back issues. So he wanted to retire a little earlier.
Yeah.
Having a close relationship with Red Auerbach, he stayed on. And when Len passed, Larry was still playing hurt and everything. He was wishing that Len would come in and where he can go out. but it didn't happen. So Larry Bird just played, injured until Reggie started to developing things like that. But they were hoping for that Len Bias thing to come, get Larry Bird some rest or whatever he was going to do at that time.
Yeah. So, got a question. So, was it any player that you hated playing against? Anybody in particular?
What high school, college, or pros? What
any level? Like, did you ever have somebody that kind of thorn on your side?
Probably Joe Dumas.
Joe D.
The Pistons was with Rick Mahorn and Lambert. They would be picking a mess out of you, man. They holding you and grabbing you. So Joe, he was open a lot because of Rick Mahorn and Bill Lambert.
Yeah.
They didn't call a lot of fouls on him, but going around those screens, running around those screens on him, he was probably tough because, they're going to beat you up. The bad ones are going to beat you up.
Yeah. Anybody at college that you had any issues like, I got to play against this guy?
Not really. Like Willie Glass, he played for St. John's.
St. John's, he was tough.
Defender, he going to chase you down, he going to put hands on you and everything. But, I was ready for it all. I was ready to challenge, compete against all of them. But Joe, like in college at the time, you didn't run around a whole lot of screens. The shooters didn't, run around the screens. And pro ball is a little different. And so Joe, used a lot of screens, and those big boys, used to, punish people.
Yeah. So, I mean, we wrapping up, your college years.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, man, I'm looking at your college record. If I'm not mistaken, of 4-year players, you got the best 4-year record of any player at Georgetown.
Oh yeah.
You got 122 wins, 19 losses, and big fella Patrick was 121 and 23.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's tough, man.
Did a lot of winning, man.
A lot of winning. So again, regular season Big East champs 84, 87, tournament champs 84, 85, 87.
First got 3 Big East championships out of that thing, man.
Yep. First team all Big East 86, 87. Big East Player of the Year 87. You got 2 Final Fours, a national championship. You're a 1,000-point member, 1,000-point club member at Georgetown. Top 10 in rebounding. Third all time in scoring with 2,117 points. I mean, you had a hell of a career at Georgetown, man.
Yeah, and then we didn't have the 3-pointers till my senior year.
Absolutely. So you probably put 3,000 up if you'd have got that 3-point line a couple years sooner.
Yeah, they had that 3-point line.
Yeah. So, me being a Georgetown fan, do you feel like the school gives you the recognition that you deserve?
No, and Big John is gone now, and I don't blame him, but he didn't push it on me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I think that by me leaving at that time or whatever, he still Thompson. He hold grudges. He held grudges.
Yeah.
He held grudges against his old high school, grudges against everybody. And then, he probably held it against me, who didn't give me, the right shine that I deserve, by even, what I did.
I'm in a Georgetown group, a Facebook group,
mm-hmm.
and they, they throw it out there sometime, like who the top 5 and this, that, and the other.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, I had you, Pat, Sleepy Floyd, Allen Iverson, and Alonzo Mourning, I think, was my 5.
Yeah.
And I had somebody coming at me talking about no shade against these guys, but they couldn't hold your jock, man. Otto Porter or Jeff Green.
You're right. I ain't gotta say it.
Now, and I like both of them.
Yeah, I like both of them.
But they wouldn't touch the floor if y'all was on the same teams.
Yeah.
It's not even close.
It's
not even close, man. So, with the big fella there coaching now, what you think about the job he's doing?
Well, the recruiting, I don't have high expectations for my Hoyas. I cheer for them, the guys or whatever. But I feel that when JT3 took it over, he coming from the Princeton system,
Yeah.
And I'm running a Princeton offense. That wasn't our style of basketball.
Right.
It made Georgetown.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that's Coach's son and everything. And a lot of people won't talk about this, but I never been scared of Big John or none of the Thompson.
Yeah.
But I thought he kind of set our program back.
Mm.
And we can't, like, college basketball is made up now. You try to get the best players and you let them play and see what happens.
Right.
He kind of controlled them. He got the players that fit his mold as the Princeton mold. That Georgetown is not Princeton.
Right. Right.
And so I always was disappointed in that. They didn't have full court pressure. They never pressured the guys. They were okay defensive team, but they never had full court pressure. They didn't have, the shooters. They didn't have, they didn't recruit those players that, built the foundation of Georgetown.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so now, it's been 30 something years, that we haven't won a championship, but, I'm feeling, I feel a kind of, certain type of way. I don't want to see Carolina and Kentucky and all those teams winning championships and not Georgetown in the running. I don't know if we've been in the top 15 in the last 30 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm very disappointed about that.
I'm sure.
And I don't know if we ever going to get back.
Right.
Because now the guys can go to any school they want to and make it if they have, aspirations to go to pro ball.
Right.
Have to go to the big name school because, look at Ja Morant and those other guys, man.
Yeah, you're right.
School, man. Yeah. And if you play, they're going to find you.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm so disappointed. They're not going to go to Georgetown because of Pat. Most of those guys never seen Pat.
Yeah, yeah.
So, but they seen like Coach K coaching over the years. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
They're more familiar with those type of coaches. And when, Pat, you can't sit back and say I'm Patrick Union and you're going to get all these players.
Right.
So the recruiting, if you don't have the players, you're not going to win.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't know if we got that push, that Big John, he knew talent.
Yeah.
And so, but during these times, it's hard that, I don't know how my Hoya is going, I just don't know.
Yeah.
I just, I'm gonna be there, I'm a cheer.
Right.
And be supportive, but I don't know, that's why I say my expectations, because I don't know how much they're gonna, do to get this team back to glory days.
Yeah, and I'm just a fan. You got some blood, sweat, equity in that thing. So I know it's tough for you.
Yeah.
I know it's tough for you. But we can hope. That whatever, someday that it'll turn around.
Yeah. When they won the last Big East tournament, we wasn't expecting them to win that. They got past Villanova. Villanova been dominating everything.
Yeah.
So they got them. I was very happy. I watched that game, that whole run that they that they went on.
Yeah. I was in here jumping around too.
Yeah. So I'm hoping.
Yeah. All right. So so you get to the draft, 87, you drafted, you're going to the Clippers.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in 1987, the Clippers was like going to, it
was bad.
Antarctica somewhere,
Yeah.
You're just going out there. So, man, I mean, you coming from all this winning, you've done a lot of winning from high school to college, and then you go to the Clippers. I mean, what's that like for you? And y'all had 3 picks that year, right?
Yeah, we had 3 picks that year, man. They moved up. They wasn't in San Diego. They moved up that summer,
mm-hmm.
and so they were 12 and 72.
Oh.
12 and 72.
Oh.
And the mentality there, man, it was down. The morale was down, and I kind of, I'm coming from all this winning. I felt down. So the first couple of years, I wasn't performing like I was. I was in a mess. You know what I mean? So I didn't kind of wake up to like the end of my 3rd year because there was so much losing and guys, going, out partying, because we in LA.
Yeah.
You can find anything in LA. So, but they, I was saying these guys don't care. They just picking up the paycheck. And I want to win.
Yeah.
And so it was difficult the first couple of years, man. And I got out, shook myself out of it, and started I asked for a trade. I got out of there, and sometimes you get what you ask for.
Yeah.
Yeah, it might not be what you want.
Right.
So but I got back on my feet. I didn't stay on the carpet. I got up off the carpet and had a decent career.
Yeah. And then you in LA at the end of that Showtime run too.
Oh yeah.
So you out there at the same time, Magic and them trying to own the town.
Yeah, they own the town. Yeah.
So you got traded to Cleveland, right?
Yeah.
So you got drafted. You got traded to Cleveland. Did you play? How many years did you play in Cleveland?
I wasn't there long. They were. That was Ron Harper's team, and Ron Harper and GM. Some kind of thing happened where they traded Ron, and everybody was disappointed. So when I got there, they ain't treat me right.
Okay.
So that wasn't a good spot.
So who was down there? Was like
Mark Price.
Mark Price was there.
Nance, Brad Doherty.
Brad Doherty.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tree Rollins was there.
Okay. So you stayed. So you went from Cleveland, then you go to San Antonio, correct?
Yeah.
And was Wingate down there with you?
Yeah, Wingate was down there, and it's funny. Before they brought me in there, they asked Wingate, said, if Reggie come here, they're gonna take some of your time. And Wingate, he was okay with that. He was okay with that. You know what I mean? So, they were stacked. San Antonio was stacked.
Yeah.
I mean, Ross Strickland, Willie Anderson, Terry, David Robinson, they were stacked.
Yeah.
That team, that team could have won a championship.
Mm-hmm.
So I was coming in there, just starting to get myself together. I wasn't Reggie Williams yet. You know what I mean? I knew I wasn't going to play because I wasn't probably mentally ready to play at that time. But Larry, and that's when Greg Popovich was assistant coach.
Okay.
And so Pop used to work with me, Sean Elliott, after practice. So that's how I got my confidence built back up. So I always gave them kudos, Larry and Greg Popovich. And you see what Greg Popovich became.
Yeah, he became he recognized as the guy right now.
Yeah, so he he used to work with me, every day after practice.
Mm-hmm.
He took the time out to do that. So I always thank those guys. And once I got my my confidence back, I was ready to roll.
Mm-hmm. So Larry Brown was the head coach?
Yeah, Larry Brown was the head
coach. What kind of coach was he? Because he's pretty respected too in the league.
He respected. He crazy. He loved me one day, went crazy the next day. Nobody knows basketball like Larry Brown. I'm telling you. Nobody knows basketball like Larry Brown. I'm telling you.
Okay.
And so, the X's and O's, and he's a North Carolina guy. Work,
Smith.
Kind of stuff. You got pros. He try to take you down to basics and stuff.
Yeah. He got you back at the rec center, huh?
Yeah, like Mo Cheeks. Mo Cheeks just played.
Yeah.
Trying to get Mo Cheeks to do this footwork. Mo said, "Man, I'm a Hall of Famer, man. I ain't got time for this mess, man." But it's funny. I mean, just like I said, we were stacked. Larry Brown don't believe in a whole lot of practicing.
Okay.
Like Terry Cummins, David Robinson being in the stands with newspapers, man. He come in there for like 20 minutes, 15, 20 minutes. Practice, work on some plays or whatever and some verbiage or whatever. And he said, y'all, okay, see y'all later.
Wow.
But he expected you to, be ready at game time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He was a player coach, but he was a little nutty though.
Now that's funny to say. That's funny you say that. Mm-hmm. Now he was the coach when Allen Iverson went through that whole practice.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's why I don't understand, about that, because Larry Brown wasn't a big practice guy himself, you know what I mean? So I don't know whether Iverson wasn't coming at all or what. But you ain't gonna be there 15, 20 minutes. So, so I don't know what happened with that.
He in and out.
You with Larry, you in and out. So he ain't gonna keep you there long. So I don't know what happened. Iverson wasn't coming to the building. He was at home, said, I ain't coming.
Wow, that's crazy. That's crazy. So you go from San Antonio and then you kind of hit your stride when you got to the Denver Nuggets.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Denver Nuggets. So you and that was your longest stand for us NBA team, correct?
Yes. Uh-huh.
So what was it about Denver and you kind of just everything kind of came together at that
I
point.
started in San Antonio, with working, after practice, building my confidence and things like that. So when I left there, I was ready,
Yeah.
And
So that
West Head, Paul was running gun.
yeah, he get them down.
If I didn't take a shot, he said, Reggie, if you don't take that shot, you're gonna sit. He said, he want to outscore everybody. You know what I mean?
He ain't got to tell you twice, huh?
Yeah, he ain't got to tell me twice. So he said, if you got the shot, don't turn it down. That's what he told all the shooters. Chris Jackson. He became
Mahmoud. Yeah.
Walter Davis on the team. Agent Walter. He still was shooting that ball real well.
Yeah.
But but the other guys was looking for myself. Chris Jackson or Walter. For the outside game or whatever. But so Paul said, play.
Let's go.
He said, let's go.
and you had another Georgetown guy out there with you, old Mutombo.
Yeah, Mutombo came in.
Big African.
Yeah.
That's what Coach used to call him, the Big African.
When I left, he was coming in Georgetown. He couldn't speak a word of English.
Really?
He had to sit out a year to learn English before he came on the basketball team.
Oh, okay.
There a year before he started to play.
So he was on campus when you were there?
Well, when I was leaving, graduating, he came in '87.
Oh, okay. He came in after you were gone. Okay.
Yeah, and played the '88 year. You know what I mean?
Okay. All right. So how was Mutombo coming into the league? What did you think about his game? I knew he was a shot blocker, but offensively he wasn't really polished.
No, he wasn't. He wasn't polished. He was trying to learn the Jabbar hook. Nobody. It's crazy that nobody have developed that sky hook in all these years, but Jabbar. And so Dikembe had this. It wasn't a pretty hook shot. He would get it up there and he'd make a few of them, whatever. But he was a work in progress as far as the offense. I mean, he never became a. He was okay.
Yeah, I used to listen to Coach radio show.
Okay.
And he said one time Mutombo was courageous to take some of the shots he took. You know what I'm saying? Because he knew it wasn't pretty, but he said he took some courageous shots.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, but big Mutombo. So, he was pretty much shot blocker, rebounder.
Yeah, tough defense inside. Yeah, that was his motto right there, man.
Yeah.
I mean, if you were looking for 20 a night, you wasn't getting that.
Yeah, wasn't gonna get that.
You getting 14, 15 rebounds, 5, 6 blocks. That was his game.
But with you, Mahmoud, with y'all guys, he wasn't gonna get many shots anyway, was he?
He wasn't gonna get many, yeah. But I looked out for him though. The shots that he did, I gave to him.
I guess you got to know where to give it to him too.
Oh yeah, close to the basket, yeah.
Real close. We just turn and put it in there, big fella.
Put it in, yeah.
Yeah. So y'all had that great playoff run or the playoff series there against the Supersonics, against Gary Payton and them guys. They was the number 1 seed. Y'all was the 8th seed.
Yeah.
And y'all knocked them off. And who did y'all play the next round?
Utah.
The Utah got y'all?
Yeah, Utah had us down 0-3.
Mm-hmm.
And we won the next 3 games and took it to a game 7.
Okay.
In Utah, and we lost that.
Okay.
Yeah, but they didn't want to see us because the next series would have been Houston. Now Houston, they had a tough time beating us. They beat us twice. We beat them twice.
So what year was that? 94?
94, yeah, 94. So they didn't want the Nuggets in no playoff and no championship.
So that's the year. That's the year that Houston played the Knicks.
Yeah.
So y'all could have knocked off the Rockets.
Yeah, we could have knocked up because they Mutombo kind of neutralized Olajuwon, and then they just had jump shooters. Maxwell, Kenny Smith, and some other Mario Ellie. We were right there with them. What I mean? So the only difference was Olajuwon. If we can control him, we got everybody else. Yeah. So we gave Houston fits on a year. What I mean? They didn't want to see us.
They had a young Sam Cassell too, though.
Not when I was there. Sam came a few years. Yeah, Sam was there.
He was on that first championship team.
Oh yeah, they had my boy on that team. Yeah. They sure did. And Sam, during the year, Sam didn't shoot like that until he got to the playoff. He was to that playoff boy.
Well, he was prime time that playoff.
Yeah, he
playoff
was
run, man.
smiling and laughing, hitting. That was bad.
Yeah. So somebody asked, was Carlos Rogers on y'all Denver team?
Carlos Rogers. Rodney Rogers.
Rodney Rogers. I remember big Rodney Rogers was on there. I think Carlos Rogers was a big skinny kid.
Yeah.
Shot blocker.
Yeah. Rodney Rogers was on the team.
Yeah, I remember Rodney Rogers was on there.
Yeah.
And that team was kind of deep. You know, that Houston, I mean, y'all Nuggets team, man.
Yeah, we had Pack coming off the bench, Robert Pack.
Alfonso Ellis.
Yeah, Fonzo was starting. Tommy Hammonds. We had
Tom Hammonds. Yeah.
We had some good,
nice little squad.
Bench.
Yeah, and y'all was kind of young too.
Yeah, we're a young team. Yeah, but I was the oldest guy on that team. You know, when we the '94. You know, that team.
So how old was you about that time?
I think 30.
30. So you know, so I guess you about what 6, 7 years in.
I played 10 total.
I mean, but at that time, you was probably about year 6 or 7 years.
About seven in.
Yeah.
About 7 in.
Yeah. So like with the league now, you don't see a lot of like veteran players, like seasoned veterans. You know what I'm saying? Usually, like I see a lot of people looking at like my guy down in Miami that been down there 20 years. He kind of just on the bench.
They run them out now, man. They don't. They usually keep the veteran around there to teach the young guys something. But if you're not playing, they're not. They're not going to. They get a young boy who they can pay less.
Yeah,
they can pay less to sit there instead of paying you that money.
Well, somebody like Pat Riley down in Miami, he keep Udonis Haslem around.
Yeah, he keep him around because he drafted him. He I don't know. I don't know if Haslem was drafted. He came in as a free agent.
Yeah, he came in free agent.
Riley said, once Pat Riley boy, he gonna take care of you.
Yeah.
So no matter what, but you go through the fire with Pat Riley, he's gonna take care of you. So that's what he did for Haslem.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And when Juwan Howard,
Yep, he kept Juwan Howard around too.
Juwan Howard down there too, because when they won that championship, Juwan wasn't playing no more. He wasn't a regular player.
No, he sure wasn't.
He wasn't a regular player. So, but he took that Michigan job. He would still be in Miami.
Yeah.
And so he take care of his old, so.
Yep.
Sure did. You can't cross Pat Riley. You can't cross him, boy.
So we got a question here. Who are your favorite players in the NBA now?
I like LeBron. I thought they kind of treated him kind of bad. When he couldn't win early, he didn't have a team in Cleveland. You know what I mean? And they get on him. It was a lot of pressure on him to come from high school like that, and come in at 18, and they, because he wore 23. You got to treat him a certain kind of way. Let that man grow. But he redeemed himself. He had a hell of a career, clean career. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Family man and all that kind of stuff. So I liked him. I liked a lot of players. D Wade. I like D Wade. I like Ray Allen when they was out there. Kevin Garnett. Those guys, man.
Mm-hmm. What about KD?
KD. I love KD. Yeah. I love KD. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So. Another question here: were you ready to retire when you did, or kind of?
I was 34. I might have could have played effective maybe another year or two, coming off the bench. You know what I mean? Come in, shoot a couple of threes or whatever.
Yeah.
It didn't happen. I was injured. My leg, I had a calf. I had a little operation on my calf, and that kind of slowed me down a little bit. So if I would have been lucky to get another year or two.
Yeah.
Out of it,
Now, how you think your game would translate to the way they play now?
Well, this is the type of game I love right here. They just shoot up 53 pointers. When I was coming up, man, if you took 3 or 4 or 5 3-pointers, that was a lot.
Yeah.
You got teams shooting 40 or 50 shots. One guy shooting 15. Steph Curry messed the whole game up, man. It was great for him because he make them, but all those shots he make is bad shots.
Yeah, he takes some tough shots, but boy.
40-footers, they bad shots. They get a lot of people on the bench. They put a lot of people on the bench. So he kind of got the game all crazy like a ping pong machine. I don't like that part of the game.
Right.
Part of the game.
Yeah.
Part of the game.
Yeah.
Take all the shots he wanted. I don't like that part of the game.
Yeah. So I found a quote. Man. And it kind of made sense to me. Kind of something I felt because like I said, I'm a fan. I'm a Reggie Williams fan.
Mhm.
So I saw a quote. I think I saw it on your Wikipedia. Bill Simmons. I think Bill Simmons used to be on ESPN. I think.
Yeah, Bill. I remember Bill. Yeah.
Yeah. So he said that talking about the '87 draft, he felt like if Reggie Williams went to another team, his entire career is different. And the Clippers that Clipper stamp went right with you.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
I always said that, I always felt like if you would have went anywhere but the Clippers, because the Clippers was just like going to Siberia back then.
It was a bad ran organization, man. It was bad, not now, but when Sterling had the team back in those days, it was badly ran. Yeah.
So you feel like if you'd have landed somewhere else, your career might have turned out a little different.
It would have been different because I thought I was just as good as Reggie Miller and those guys who made the Hall of Fame. You know what I mean? Yeah, I used to, take those guys to the bank or whatever.
Absolutely. And I remind people of that.
Yeah.
Now on the Sports Mix about a year or so ago, we did me and my guys on the round table, we did a all 1980s Big East and the 1980s ACC team.
Mm-hmm.
And I caught hell. I caught hell, man, because listen, it's my show.
Yeah.
And not because it's my show, but I caught hell because I fought tooth and nail. I said, listen, if Reggie not on the top 5, it ain't no Big East team.
Mm-hmm.
Because and they say because I'm a fan, you a Reggie fan, man. I said, nah, man, y'all not respecting my man's career.
Mm-hmm.
And I read the numbers. You know what I'm saying? I read the numbers. I wish I had the numbers present that night.
Yeah.
But I was going off memory. I was going off my memory. But yeah, I got you on that top 5 for the Sports Mix Big East team. And I don't have it with me. I don't remember the others, but I knew I fought and caught a little flack for fighting you. But I think we got you over Chris Mullin at the small forward.
Chris has shot. He shot. I did a lot. I did a lot more.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm a Reggie guy. So you win every day in my book.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, it might have been Walter Berry. We did pick you up Walter Berry. He was tough too. He was tough too. So we got a question here. What's your Mount Rushmore in NBA history?
I was just talking to one of my friends about that. He was asking me that a few hours ago.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, well, historically, the guys that I haven't seen, like Wilt play and Bill Russell, I never seen those guys play. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm just going by what other people saying about those great players, right? So, but the people who I've seen, Magic is the best basketball player I ever seen. I'm not, Jordan is not the best to me.
Okay. I
think Magic is the best player who really changed the game, or improved the game. The 60s and the 70s. He just improved that game, the passing. And I was telling him that I never seen 2 big guys pass the ball the way Bird and Magic passed the ball. You know what I mean? That's when, that's the change, that's improvement. Mm-hmm. And so I say Magic, Kareem, Michael, Larry Bird, and I like Isaiah Thomas.
Okay.
I mean, he don't get a lot of due.
He don't get a lot. Yeah, he don't get a lot of credit no more.
Enough to be 6 feet and led his team the way he led his team and scoring and making everybody better. Isaiah, and they jipped my man off the
team.
Yeah.
He should have been there for sure.
He should have been there.
Yeah, he should have been
there.
That's
the 5 who I've seen with my own eyes, who I grew up watching.
Now you got to play against them guys too.
Yeah,
most of them, right?
Yeah, all of them really.
All of them, okay. I know Kareem was kind of at the end.
Kareem had left before I got there.
Yeah. So what? Now, did you was a 2 guard in the NBA? Did you have to guard Michael?
I played Michael. Yeah, 2 and 3. Yep.
So what was Mike like? I mean, we know he was tough, but I mean, just you going head up with him. What's that like?
He had to guard me. I know I went down in Chicago and put 32 on him and Scotty.
Okay.
And so Michael kind of told Scotty, said, "Man, you forgot about him or something." So, but I've always played him well.
Okay.
But Mike, he knew all the tricks of the trade. He would hold your arm and to get around you. So he was tough. He was the black cat.
Yeah.
But like Scotty came out the same year I wasn't gonna let him do nothing to me.
Right.
Yeah. But those guys, they were pretty good basketball players, man. Can't take nothing from them. They did a hell of a job in Chicago, man.
Yeah. So with Magic, you saying Magic is your kind of your GOAT, if you know.
Yeah. Yes, the all around. Yes, the all around player. I'm not talking about scoring 30.
Yeah.
I'm talking about all around basketball player.
So what's it like matching up with Magic, a 6'8", 6'9" point guard?
Yeah, I played Magic. Baseline to baseline because he wasn't going to run past you. He didn't have swift feet or whatever, so you could stay in front of him.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what Scotty did in the championship. The Chicago, stay in front of him.
Yeah.
Yes, make him work because he's going
to work
a
little bit.
Turn.
Yeah.
And, so it was, it's like one of my heroes playing against one of my heroes because I started watching Magic. First time I saw Magic play is when they played Maryland. I think it was his sophomore year.
Okay.
I don't know if they came here to beat up on Maryland or whatever, but that's when I started following Magic. 79.
Okay. I respect that. So now, question that I've had asked of me, or just thrown out there, your guy Muggs, being 5'3", played what, 14, 15 years in the league?
15, 16, yeah.
Yeah, 15, 16 years in the league and was effective. Like he wasn't just a sideshow or just
no.
Muggs was legit.
Yeah.
Do you think Muggs should get some Hall of Fame consideration just for achieving what he did at his size?
Yeah, I mean, if like guys if they're gonna put Rodman in the Hall of Fame, just for defensive rebounding, so why not give him considerations to me? You know what I mean? Yeah. Because the Hall of Fame is you putting offensive numbers up too. That's basically what the Hall of Fame is. Like baseball, you got to have numbers.
Right.
You got to have numbers.
Right.
Basketball is the easiest to get to the Hall of Fame. You know what I mean? Their criteria is not as tough as baseball and football.
Okay.
And so if you can have a decent regular season through your career, but have outstanding playoff run, you may get to the Hall of Fame.
Right.
A lot of guys who had decent average career, but when they got in the playoffs, they stepped it up a little bit. And a lot of those guys like Reggie Miller and them, went to the Hall of Fame because of the playoff runs they had.
Right. Okay. Yeah, because I mean, I know he don't have like gaudy numbers. He don't have these big, huge numbers, but to achieve what he achieved at his size, man, I mean, and we'll never see that again.
Yeah.
I don't think we'll never see somebody at that size
either. I don't think
have a career like Muggs did. I don't think so.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And another guy, Kenny, Ben Wallace, the same.
Yeah.
Defense and rebound. He wasn't
rebound. Yep.
He wasn't a outstanding rebounder like Rodman, but he played tough or whatever. But his offensive, he didn't have any offensive skills.
Yeah.
So hey, that's what I said.
Yep. So, my man, you've been generous with your time with me.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. The computer went out, man. I'm trying to search and stuff.
Oh no, that's all good, man. But I appreciate you taking your time, man, and just coming on the show talking with me. Again, my favorite player. I argue about Reggie Williams all the time.
Thanks a lot, man.
It's an honor to have this opportunity to talk to you. Blessing my platform. The Sports Mix, and hope to have you back.
Oh yeah.
Hope to have you back.
Invite me. I get that invite. I'll be back.
Okay, well, you know what's coming. I ain't gonna get on your nerves and be asking you to come all the time, but I'm gonna definitely reach out to you, man. And I know you talked about a project you're working on, so once that's completed, man, definitely shout me out and we'll get you back on and talk about that.
And we talk about that. So
yeah. So Thanksgiving is a couple days away. Any big plans for the Thanksgiving for you and your family, or?
No, I'm staying home this year. I usually go down to Florida for the last 3-4 years.
Okay.
But, I'm gonna stay home and the kids gonna come here.
Yeah.
So
you do any cooking?
Yeah, I've been a chef for 25 years, 30 years, and boys in my family cook. My mother taught us all. My sister don't know anything about cooking. So I had a restaurant a few years ago. So
yeah, I remember that.
I do a lot. My wife keep me working. She don't like to eat out, so I got to cook for her. So,
okay, all right, that's what's up.
I enjoyed it a little bit.
yeah. So, any closing thoughts before we wrap up?
Thank you, man, for the opportunity to get on your show. Hope everything go well. For the holidays for you and your family.
Yep. Appreciate it. Appreciate that.
Stay safe. Don't eat too much.
No, not too much. Not too much. I gotta do a little cooking, just a little bit. My mom suckered me, man.
Oh.
She want me to. She gets some work done at the house, so she want me to cook a turkey for her. So
okay.
I'm gonna do that for moms, and but I ain't doing too much cooking after that. I'm gonna do that for moms and keep it pushing.
That's right.
But yeah, so man, I definitely, man, appreciate you once again. Thank you for coming on, man. And thanks, Ivan. I'll reach out to Ivan again. Thank him again for setting this up.
Okay.
I do have your info, so like something come up, man, basketball wise, and we'll chop it up with you.
In the playoffs coming up or whatever, man. We can talk about it.
Yeah, for sure. I appreciate you, man. And this is an honor for me. Just like I said, talk to a guy that I looked up to, as a young guy. I ain't that much younger than you, so I don't want to make you feel old.
Okay, yeah.
But, guy I looked up to, man, I got an opportunity to talk to you and tell your story a little bit. And I appreciate you again, man. So appreciate you, my brother. Salute.
Thank you, Kenny.
You have a great holiday, man. We'll talk to you again.
You too, babe. Thank you.
Yep.
All right.